Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Today's video is going to be another match reaction for the final day of the season. Leeds against West Brom at Elland Road with fans in the stadium.
Comes for Pablo Hernandez, and Pablo Hernandez scores a goal for Leeds United! Oh!
It was always going to be an emotional day for Leeds fans everywhere. Pablo Hernandez and Gaetano Berardi started the game, which I'm really glad Bielsa did that, because I wasn't sure if he would, to be honest. He's very win at all costs and sacrifice things like that sort of bloke. But I think he did see a real reason to do that today, for the fans and especially for the ones who are there. And for Pablo and Gaetano themselves, and to be honest, it could very easily be Alioski and Kiko's last game as well. Obviously, they won't get the reception and the sort of proper send off that the other two I mentioned did. But yeah, it was a very emotional day. Pablo and Berra started. Pablo in that first half was like vintage Pablo. He was nutmegging people. He played a pass to himself at one point. Obviously didn't mean to, but yeah, some of the balls he played. There was one where he curled it round the defence, so the defence is here and he curled it round the defence like that and it came across in front of them. Rodrigo tried to flick it but didn't actually touch it, and then Harrison put it in the net, but Rodrigo was offside, so it was sort of like, because he was affecting the play from where he was, it was classed as offside. Yeah, it's one of them. We still won 3-1, but to be honest, I'm not going to do this like how I normally do, because it's more of like a gut reaction. I did take notes and stuff and think about the key points in the game, but to be honest, we've won 3-1. Fans were back, singing, marching on together at the start. I wish I was there, to be honest. One of the weird things that I had forgotten about that made me miss Elland Road as well was the every time the goalkeeper goes to take a kick of the "oh you shit bastard," because I just haven't heard that in so long that I forgot that we do it, and haven't heard any other clubs do anything like that. But yeah, there's a few chants, and the Pablo Hernandez ringing around the ground, and he was emotional as well. You could see there was shots after him and Berardi got subbed off in like the 70th minute, and they were both sat on the bench, very emotional, and everybody was still singing a Pablo Hernandez song. I think it was hard to hear, but I think they replaced the Kiko Casilla bit of that song with Gaetano Berardi, just to sort of, you know what I mean, obviously reasons why. But yeah, it was very emotional. Pablo was really trying to get a goal. He was having a lot of shots in that second half. People were laying it off to him, teeing it up to him, and Sam Johnson, the West Brom goalkeeper, saved a fair few of them. But it would have been amazing for him to get a goal. And the thing is, Pablo and Berardi almost both scored in a way. Well, Pablo won, not some. Well, yeah, from his shots, yes, he almost scored. But then also, if he'd have been on the field like 10 minutes longer, where Leeds got a penalty and Bamford took it and put it down the middle, but that would have been Pablo probably taking that, given it was the final day of the season. I doubt Lord Bamford would have been that selfish in that moment. But yeah, so we'll start from the first goal then. So the first goal is a corner. So Rafinha swings it in, and this is the one that Berardi nearly got on the end of. He made a darting run across the front post and tried to flick it into the net, but it just missed his head, went in front of him, bounced once and went straight to Rodrigo, and Jack Harrison were both at the back post. Rodrigo got the final head, and I don't know whether it was just because, I think it was just because there were fans there and it's his first time playing in front of the fans, but that goal looked like it meant a lot to him. He was proper giving it big uns, going, proper screaming into the crowd, and they were loving it. So that was the first goal. Second goal was the Calvin Phillips free kick, where it bounced just before the keeper and then went over the top of him So he put it over the wall, good dip on it, bounced, and then went over him. You'd expected him to save it, but he didn't. He didn't get any good contact on it, and it bounced over him and went in. So, yeah, good strike on the ball, but it wasn't a fantastic free kick. But that is actually Calvin's first goal of his Premier League career. Patrick Bamford, as I said, dispatched the third goal as a penalty. Calvin did make a mistake at the end where Coops passed it to him, and he took a bad touch and it went straight through to Robson Kanu, who curled it round Kiko Casilla and scored. So Calvin was at fault for that, and I don't know whether he complained that Cooper had fizzed it into him too hard, but yeah, I think it was a bit of a nothing complaint, because he's a Premier League player, should be able to take a touch there, and he's just miscontrolled it. That's all. Bit of a stain on his game, but it's been a long season, and that's probably one of the only mistakes like that he's made this year. West Brom weren't actually that bad in this game. Conor Gallagher, who's actually on loan from Chelsea, he looks very promising. He's probably a bit of a bastard to play against, and you don't like playing against him, but you probably like him if he's on your team. He was out and about everywhere, running his socks off, trying to get on every ball. But they're not even going to have him next season because he's on loan, so there's a fair few of their players that are on loan now. No, don't worry, because I don't care, but I feel like they might struggle next year in the Championship if they can't do some decent recruitment. So yeah, they actually played quite well, and they did have some chances, some that we gifted to them, some that they made for themselves, but in the end they never put any of them in the back of the net, and that's what counts really. And that's pretty much what Sam Allardyce said in his post-match interview. They just haven't been clinical enough this season. So that victory puts us into 9th position at the end of the season, which is an amazing comeback to the Premier League. And hopefully next year we can push on for a European spot with the right recruitment. I really believe that we can get there. Phillips at the end went in for that tackle. The one thing that nobody mentioned is that it was a perfectly good challenge, a sliding challenge, and he did win the ball. It was just a bit of an old-fashioned hard tackle, but he won the ball. But in the process, he's knackered his shoulder. And I've tweeted about this before. If you want to follow me on Twitter, that's Leeds_Lately. I think he's going to be out for the Euros, to be honest, because he has done this injury before. If you remember against Wolves in the first time we played them, I think it was Raul Jimenez tackled him and he knackered his shoulder. I think he dislocated it and was out for a fair few weeks. So I can't see this being a recovered the next day sort of injury, especially with the way he walked off the pitch. He looked really sore and he would look like he was in real pain. And I think he maybe had a little bit of emotion in that moment, because he probably thinks that he's not gonna be able to play in the Euros now, which will be a real shame for him. But on the positive side, there is a World Cup next year, so if he can come back after that injury, even if he doesn't play in the Euros, and have another good season, then there's every chance that he can be in that World Cup squad, and that's the real one you want to play in, really. I know you obviously would want to play in the Euros, but if he can't, then he's still got the chance next year maybe to get in the England squad for the World Cup. But yeah, we finished the season in 9th place. A bit of a topsy-turvy final day, because I think Leicester were in the top 4 at one point when they were 2-1 up against Tottenham. Chelsea were 2-0 down or 2-1 down against Aston Villa, but then Tottenham came back and won 4-2 against Leicester. Everton lost, so that means that West Ham were in 6th, Leicester are in 5th, and Tottenham have got the 7th spot for the new European Conference League that I don't really know anything about. But yeah, that is the final day of the season. We finished 9th on 59 points with a goal difference of +8. We've won our last 4 games in a row, and I think everybody can stop saying that Bielsa burnout exists now. It definitely doesn't. We've proved it last season, we've proved it this season. But we can only push on to bigger and better things now. Hopefully the recruitment in the summer is good. I will be making more videos about transfers and stuff in the summer, but first On Wednesday, I'm going to do a match reaction to Villarreal against Scum in the Europa League final. Hopefully Villarreal win that one. And then on Saturday night, it's the Champions League final between Chelsea and Man City. So yeah, there'll be a match reaction then as well, and after that it'll be Euros content, stuff like that really. So yeah, I'll see you probably on Thursday night for that video. Yeah, thanks for watching, see you next time.